So Classroom of the Elite is one of those shows that I was interested in watching, but I thought I was probably going to binge it when the show was over, or maybe I would just check it out months down the line. But then I saw people make comparisons to My Teen Romantic Comedy, also known as Snafu, and I had to check this out. And I'm really glad I decided to check out episode 1 while it was still airing, because this is definitely a series I'm going to be doing videos weekly on. This is a series that I think some people may get upset or just kind of like, oh, you're just trying to make comparisons to a really popular series because it did it first or something like that. But you can definitely see a lot of similarities to My Teen Romantic Comedy compared to Classroom of the Elite. Obviously, it's a different setting, a different kind of story arc, but the characters, like the three who I assume are the three central main characters, you have your main male character who is kind of, you hear his internal dialogue, he just kind of goes with the flow, he doesn't really care about anything too much, he doesn't really want to get involved with things. You can see a lot of parallels to the main character in My Teen Romantic Comedy. Obviously, there is some slight alterations, but you can definitely see the comparison. And in My Teen Romantic Comedy, there was essentially two main female characters. The quiet kind of like, doesn't want to get involved with anything and will smack you upside the head, it seems like, if you get too close to her. That character in My Teen Romantic Comedy. And then they have the very positive girl who wants to be everyone's friend. You also had that. It just feels like the cast dynamic is identical to My Teen Romantic Comedy, but it does have its own legs. That's not saying like it's just a copy and paste, but you can definitely see the similarities, but it is doing its own thing with it, so I'm happy with that. And I have to say, Classroom of the Elite was a really engaging first episode. I think it's quite fascinating because we have this like elite school, this like perfect school. If you somehow get enrolled in here, you're going to be the best of the best, you're going to guarantee get the best job, go to the best university, you are going to go places. And as soon as they get in here, they basically get 100,000 yen for this first month. They can't leave basically the campus, as it seems. Like, everything that they need, though, is going to be within the school grounds. You want to go to the movies, you want to go shopping, you want to go to a mall, this school will have everything you need to go to, but you can't really interact with the outside world, and this is going to be your class for the next 3 years. So it's interesting because you look at the main male character and one of the main female characters, and they're just kind of like not really blowing through their money. They're just kind of responsible. They're acting like adults. They're not just going in buying a bunch of game consoles like some of the guys are, or going shopping and buying all the hot clothes. This is what a lot of these kids are doing, and watching this episode while focusing on the main male character, who is very similar, like I said, to the main character in My Teen Romantic Comedy, is really interesting listening to his internal dialogue and him kind of observing what's happening while also not really getting involved with everyone. Like, he's not popular, he's just kind of like, oh, I fucked up my introduction, I guess I'm not gonna have any friends. But he's not really, like, too worried about it. He doesn't get flustered when, like, you know, the pretty girl is up close against him. It's just refreshing having these types of characters and not just the ones like, oh my god, there's a girl talking to me, I need to act like a fucking weeaboo. I really appreciate that. But it's interesting because all throughout this episode, you're watching these characters, minus the main characters, but all these, like, classmates just dick around, skip class, play on their phones, talk to one another, but the teacher does nothing. Throughout the episode, you, like the main character, is like, why doesn't the teacher ever say anything? And what I love with this episode is by the very end, you see the teacher just snap on him. Because they're all just like, hey, where's our money? I thought we're supposed to get our money at the first of every month. You do. Well, we didn't get any money. I can guarantee you, you did not miss out on your pay. Well, let's see. You had all these absences, you dicked around in class, you didn't pay attention. The money you get is based on your performance, and you assholes didn't do shit, so you best hope the next month you do a lot better. And it seems like the only one who has money currently is the main male character, who I think he still has like 88,000 yen in his bank account there, because he didn't really go spending his money. When one of the main female, she was very cautious, was only like buying like things that are on sale, so she probably also has a lot of money. But everyone else was blowing their money, so they have to live with no money for the next month. So it's interesting that this school, like, basically allow you to do whatever you want, but if you're not a good performer, you're pretty much screwed. You might starve to death because you won't have the funds to live, basically. This is such an interesting concept because I was on board with the idea of just chillax class, you know, everyone's gonna do their own thing. But when they pulled the twist at the end of this teacher being like, you guys are fucking idiots, I was even more on board. Like, you had my attention all throughout the episode, but you have me dying to watch episode 2 with that very ending there. I think just overall, like, visually, it looks awesome. The character models are on point. I think Lurch is doing this series, which definitely doesn't feel like a Lurch character design model, at least in my opinion here, but they're definitely doing a really good presentation. My biggest criticism for the entire show is actually the male main character's voice actor. I get what they're trying to do with it, the kind of like monotone, not really caring and not really energetic, but I've seen this type of voice done far better with different actors, and I'm really not a fan of his voice actor who they chose to play him. Maybe that'll be an unpopular opinion and most people like his voice, but for me, I found it to be quite annoying. I did get more used to it as the episode went on, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. But hopefully as the show goes on, I'll just grow to accept it a bit more. But I have to say, Classroom of the Elite not only had a great character dynamic that's very similar to My Teen Romantic Comedy, a show that I just quite enjoy a lot, so it's nice to see something, because I doubt I'll ever see a season 3 of that show, and I doubt this will either get a full adaptation either. Happy to have something like this. It's really cool, it has a great cast dynamic, everything about it, minus, like I said, the male main character's voice acting, I think is amazing for this show, and I'm dying to watch episode 2. But I'd be interested here, what did everyone think of this first episode, and what did you think of that little bit at the very end where they just kind of shift the entire show, where that teacher just snaps? Like, that's not only, like, my favorite moment in the show, I just think it's completely unexpected, because I thought the show was going to be one thing, and then it became something completely different. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.